Good morning, everyone. It's early morning again. I think I'm just going to start calling this channel 3 a.m. Thoughts because it's not 3 a.m., but it's still very early in the morning. And I was woken up with a very uncomfortable feeling. And so I've just been laying here with it. And a lot of it is the collective energy right now, what they're feeling, what they're going through. So I sat with this energy for a little bit, and I was feeling it a lot in my sacral and then in my upper body around like the shoulder areas and the chest. And it was connected to competition, fear, jealousy, and envy. And so when I was working with this, I was just sitting there for a moment and I was trying to see, okay, what is the collective feeling from it right now? And when you're dealing with these energies, it's really important to know that sometimes they're not yours. Sometimes they're projections from other people, and it's the energy that's still surrounding you. So if you think about it, how many people out there, and it has nothing to do with you, sometimes personally, sometimes it does. But some people are just very jealous and very envious, and it doesn't matter what they have, it will never be good enough for them. So when they see somebody else getting ahead, or they feel intimidated by you in some way, they project not so nice energy towards you. They could pretend to be your friend and wish the best for you, or they can be very truthful in their energy and just show you, I don't really like you or care for you. Either way, I was sitting with that energy, but I said, I want to go a little bit deeper and make it about yourself. Because with the energy that we're in this year, in the 6th year of 222, this is all about coming into your individuality. It's coming into your heart space, getting rid of the distorted ego. And so I wanted to make it about you. Make it about yourself on a personal level. So and take it back to your childhood. Where in your life did you feel competition first? And again, it could have been from another person saying that you're not good enough. There's many parents out there that, their child can say, oh, I'm interested in this, or I want to be this when I grow up, or I want to go here, I want to experience there. And the first thing, they get shut down because it's like, they get laughed at, or they get called ridiculous because you'll never be able to do that. You'll never be good enough for that. You'll never be smart enough for that. You have to go to XYZ training for all of that in order to get. So what happens is you start losing hope in that, excitement, and fear now creeps in. When that fear creeps in, it attaches to your solar plexus in your root chakra. And it's like, okay, now the whole rest of your life, you're navigating with this fear of, how can I do this? I'm not going to be able to do this. And your self-worth starts getting blocked away more and more as you get older, because that fear creeps in every time you want to do something, right? And then you start getting into competition with yourself. And I really want you to sit with that, because that's where I wanted the energy to take me. And I was like, let's make this about the individual person, not just looking out there of who's projecting at them and where your jealousy is towards other people, what they have, what you feel you lack. Make this about you. Really sit and get a little bit raw and vulnerable with yourself and be like, okay, Where have I been self-sabotaging myself my whole life, and I've never even realized it because I'm too focused on what somebody else is doing, on what somebody else has, on what somebody else knows, giving them more credit than you give yourself. Why? Because you have this fear-based mentality that just loops around and loops around and loops around every time you want to do something that makes you excited. It pulls you back and it keeps you stuck. It keeps you sometimes in a paralyzing fear of, I'll never get there. What's the use? What's the sense? I'm not good enough. There's too much work involved for me to have the energy to go and do this. Instead of thinking it in a positive light where it's like, okay, you know what? That person was just projecting their fears onto me or their insecurities onto me. I can't allow that to affect me personally. When you're a kid, you're not going to know that. Most adults don't know that. So now take a step back and see where, okay, I have had this happen to me for maybe one or two parents, maybe kids at school. They laughed and judged you, said you're ridiculous for, wanting to become a neuroscientist or an astronaut or whatever it is that, you wanted to create for yourself. And then you change your thought pattern and you get stuck in that fear loop. So where can you go back and focus on that energy? And today's April 9th. We're coming into the full moon on the 16th. So use the rest of this week to really sit with that energy because it's what's blocking you from moving forward. Where have you been in competition with yourself? Because a lot of people don't even tell another person their plan. They say, oh, I'm going to keep it to myself because if I fail, nobody will ever know. And I won't have to feel humiliated or like I failed somebody. But at the same time, you're still feeling that failure for yourself and that humiliation for yourself. And then you get down on yourself and you self-sabotage and you keep yourself in this imprisonment. And it keeps you stuck, and it's the same loop that plays over and over and over. And as I'm talking about it, my stomach just keeps like spinning around and spinning around. So I just want to do a little bit of energy work on you. So if you don't want it, you can click off the video. And if you do want it, just allow yourself to be open to receive and open to surrendering, to letting go what no longer serves you. Surrender to yourself, surrender to your higher self, surrender to your purpose. So I'm going to be using light codes and just allow yourself to be open. If you really want to remove this energy, just make a conscious decision in your head. Yes, I want to remove any self-sabotaging limitations and restrictions that I keep repeating and putting on myself because of these old programs that no longer serve me. So just close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths in through your nose. And as you inhale fully, you're going to pause 3 to 4 seconds and then completely exhale. Sorry, I guess the throat chakra is involved in this too. Just repeat those slow breaths 4 more times. And just allow yourself to be open to receiving the new light code energies to help you regain your self-worth. Since the throat is acting out, we're going to say your truth as well. So just breathe into that. Removing all of the burdens from the heart chakra, from all the weight that you have carried, thinking you had to prove yourself either to yourself or to another person. Removing that distorted energy. The distorted ego mindset and programming. Clearing other people's perceptions from your throat chakra, where they were based in fear, jealousy, envy, insecurity. From their own distorted belief patterns and where you absorbed it as your own truth. We now surrender and release that energy. We remove it from our root chakra, from any burdens we have carried through our DNA and bloodstream, from any ancestors, past lives, or in this lifetime, from our own birth parents, teachers, friends, siblings. Clearing that space in the sacral that's going to allow you to create now from your own dreams, your own visions. Your own inner divine feminine. Clearing away all the debris from the outside energy sources. And just allow these light codes to swim through you. You are protected. You are safe. You are loved. Take another deep breath in through your nose. Command your energy to balance, align, center, and ground. Take another deep breath. And then you can come back into your awareness, into the room, and open your eyes. And it just made me think of yesterday. I did 2 sessions, and they both happened to be the Mother of Pearl activation, which is the divine feminine codes from Lemuria. If you get a chance, you can look at it on my website, terranovahealingandwellness.org. And the description of it is listed on there. But one of the women that I was doing the session on, it was interesting because she has a broken bone in her right ankle. She had surgery on it, and when it happened, when she found out she was, that she had broken her leg and she needed the surgery, she called me and she said the first thing I thought of was you, because she had taken the resurrection process workshop with me a few years ago, and she remembered how I was speaking about when the physical body purges, it has to release from the body, sometimes through colds and flus, sometimes through sinus infections, UTIs, surgeries. Sometimes you end up with a broken bone if the ancestral line goes that deep, and you have to release those patterns through bones. And she leads with a very masculine energy, as a lot of women do. And so yesterday I did the Mother of Pearl activation on her. And when I was working on her, I did the codes, and I love this activation because each person that I do it on, all the energy work that I do on people is always different and specific for that individual. But I see with these codes, the light frequencies, the transformation instantly of what they're stepping into. So with her specifically, the right side of her body was a bright, bright red. It lit up bright, bright red. And I was seeing it as the whole masculine side energetically inflamed, that she was overburdened and carried so much heavy energy and overload and pressure that she was putting on her masculine energy, and it needed to be resolved, and it needed to be put to sleep now and removed, so that the feminine energy can connect inward more. And she does do energy work and all of this stuff, but the divine feminine energy, which that is your intuition, that is your wisdom, your ancient tools in history, it's all in yourself, and you have to reawaken that. And so I was working with the codes, and then the colors started to change, and then blue started coming in, and it was just reminding me of like the arteries in the veins, the blues and the reds, and how it was intertwined, and it started flowing. And as it started flowing, the energy started changing and coming down. And then it turned into an emerald green, and it just felt very soft and light. But it was the energy that came forward of Archangel Raphael. And his energy just stayed there with her. And it's going to heal her through the process and, amplify the energy healing on her masculine side, as well as the broken bones that she had in the surgery that she just had. So whether that energy is going to stay with her, and that's who she'll be now channeling healing energy from, or he's just attached to her right now to help her heal through that process, we'll find out in a few weeks. So I thought that was interesting. And the other woman that I worked with, hers was very different, and she had a veil over her. It was a couple of feet from her in a diagonal, but it was the energy of, I was seeing it as a veil. Her mother had died when she was a young girl, and also she has taken the resurrection process with me a few years back as well. And through the years, we have healed all of that trauma of loss around that. So I knew it wasn't hers, and the way that the energy was, I knew that it was her mother's energy still lingering around. And when I spoke to her after the session, my heart just broke. I could feel all the mother's emotions, and it was, she still wasn't letting go of that guilt of leaving her kids behind. She was dying of cancer, and that fear of guilt, and that fear of, I can't remember exactly the words that she was giving to me yesterday, but it was, they were so young when she was leaving. She was young as well, and there was just so much fear of letting go. And, I haven't been able to teach you. I'm not ready to let you go. And what about the fear of you growing up in the world without a mother? And it was just all of that stuff. But when I was able to release that last layer, she opened up, and I worked with the codes on her, and her right palm opened up, and she was able to activate the energy of the violet flame through her right hand. And following that was the purple rose. And it was all these roses went up her arm, and it was the purple rose following the violet flame. And it was one of the Magdalene Roses, Sisterhood of the Rose activation that she was coming into. Those are healing tools that she's now going to be working with when she does healing work. On her right hand, then opened up with a lot of gold energy. She also had a breastplate of gold that came in with certain codes on it and protection. And right now, I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember the whole session. But anyways, we had spoken after the session of what was going on, and she said she was going to get a tattoo on her right wrist that said, "I love you," with a purple rose on it. So it was the same hand with that rose coming forward, and it was that purple rose, and it was all about that healing and transformation energy. And now what she's able to do with it and step more into her individuality, her ancient goddess energy, Lemurian rising energy, the Magdalene Code, the Sisterhood of the Rose. It's like all of these energies now coming forward, and it's time for everybody to move away from that codependency energy, that competition energy, and step into that independent energy, your individuality. Let go of everybody's shit that's been playing mind games in your head all of these years, and that has been distorting your whole mindset and the energy frequencies around you. It's keeping you from aligning to your true purpose. It's keeping you from aligning to your path, to your truth, and to your own creativity. And I'm just using these two women as instance because, example, they both had, the same type of session, the same codings put in them, but look at how different their sessions were. One had the energy of Archangel Raphael coming in for healing. The other one had the Magdalene Rose, tuning her into her goddess frequency, and the other was attuning with her angelic frequencies. Everybody's here to do their own thing. There's no need for jealousy. There's no need for competition. You're never going to know who you're supposed to be and what you're actually capable of, what your gifts actually of, if you're not tuning into your own frequency, your own truth, moving away from everyone else's distorted energy, holding up personal, healthy boundaries. If you're aligning yourself with toxic people, that's what you're going to keep gravitating in your life. And you're never going to move forward because their toxic energy is going to be of a distorted level and it's not allowing you to vibrate higher. Stop paying attention to the energy you are allowing in forms of your own thought patterns, in forms of your outside frequencies. Where is my thought pattern affecting me internally? Where am I keeping myself from growing? Where am I keeping myself from moving forward? What is the fear attached to? Why? What can I do to change it? And maybe someone's, voice or face or incident pops up, and that's great because now it's in your awareness and you can set that energy free between the both of you and move forward. Forgive. And for me, I always feel like it's easy for me to forgive somebody because I've just always had these gifts. So I could always see above, the 3D aspect. And I could always see the person for who they truly are and why they're acting this way and what it's teaching me. So yes, I'm human. I get pissed off. I'm going to yell and swear and whatever. And then I'm over it. And then the clarity sets in. And it's like, oh, I get it. Okay, let me do this work. Let me forgive that person. Let me forgive myself. What were they mirroring to me? How do I let that go? Let's release it, do some energy work, and I focus on that until it's gone. Does it repeat? Yeah, sometimes. It depends on the layers, how deep it goes. Is it ancient karma that has carried over with that? Or is it something just from this lifetime that you needed to learn and then change the frequency to change that? So just focus on that energy today and use it through the 16th is the full moon we're coming into. And just, your main focus is, I'm here to heal myself. I'm here to learn who I am. Who am I without all this other distorted energy from other people carried over? And then allow yourself to see the truth of that, to set it free and to align to a higher frequency. So I hope that helps. Be well, be safe, good luck.